right, let's break down the number one error in pickleball. What is it? The big backswing. Eliminating as much of the backswing as possible in every stroke will greatly reduce your errors and improve your game. We're going to break the backswing into 3 different videos. First video, we're going to talk conceptually about the backswing and the point of contact and why a backswing isn't important in pickleball. Second video, we'll look at some of the errors that can occur with a large backswing. In the third video, we'll go over some drills and exercises that'll help you reduce your backswing and improve your game. In order to understand the errors caused by a long backswing, we need to talk about the physics of the actual shot in pickleball. When hitting a shot in pickleball, your objective is to strike the ball with the paddle and achieve your intended shot. In order to do that, there's always going to be an optimal point of contact. Point of contact at which you optimally want to hit the ball in order to develop the shot or in order to generate the shot that you're trying to accomplish. Pickleball players who come from other racket sports like tennis and racquetball are used to swinging their racket in connection with every stroke. While those other sports require a backswing because of the physics of those sports, pickleball does not present the same issue. Tennis, the other racket sport that I'm most familiar with, has a longer racket, has a heavier ball that has to travel a farther distance than in pickleball. A tennis ball is traveling a farther distance, has a greater amount of energy that you have to absorb and then impart your own energy back into in order to send the ball back across the net. Pickleball, you have a smaller, lighter paddle, you have a lighter ball and a smaller court. And pickleball is a sport where reducing errors and placing the ball have a higher value than simply powering the ball. As a result, in pickleball, you do not need a big backswing in order to execute the shot. Some of the initial reviewers of the video suggested that we ought to clarify what we mean by the backswing. What we mean by backswing is from the point of contact backwards, not from the point of contact forward, which is often called the follow-through. It's important in all your strokes to have a good follow-through, whether it's a dink follow-through, ground stroke follow-through, volley follow-through, or overhead follow-through. All those strokes, the follow-through is very important. What we're focusing on is trying to reduce the backswing part of the stroke, because it is the backswing part of the stroke that is not as necessary in pickleball and can be shortened to reduce errors. So again, to be clear, what we're focusing on in these videos is the backswing part of the stroke and not the follow-through. It's important that you continue to maintain a good follow-through in all of your strokes. If you have any questions about the distinction between the backswing and the follow-through or any other part of the stroke, please comment below and let us know. Let's break down a dink and talk about the different components of a dink shot so you can understand why the backswing is not important, particularly in this shot. In a dink situation, I'm going to be receiving a low ball and I'm going to be dinking that ball back to the other side. In a dink shot, point of contact is usually somewhere out in front. For purposes of this illustration, we're going to use this point as being what we'll call the optimal point of contact. This point here is the best spot at which you should strike the ball in order to deliver the best shot possible you can to the other side. If this is our point of contact, then I want to make sure the paddle is at this same spot as the ball at the time the ball arrives here. Now remember, the ball is not static here. It's not sitting on a tee or waiting for me here. It's traveling across from the other side at a certain speed. So I need to make sure that my paddle is here at the same time as the ball is here. Now let's see what happens when I take an exaggerated swing. Obviously this is not a swing that anybody actually uses. I'm doing it for illustration purposes. If I took my backswing this far, I would have to calculate the exact time that I had to release the paddle and the speed that I need the paddle to travel in order to reach this point at the correct time to strike the ball at the optimal point of contact. It's a very difficult thing to do, to calculate the speed of the paddle and the time at which I have to start my swing in order to get the paddle here at the right time. Not to mention the fact that I'd have to probably swing the paddle pretty fast in order to get the paddle at the point of contact, given the fact that I only have the time from when it travels from the other side of the kitchen to this side of the kitchen to get the paddle to the point of contact. Not only can I have a timing error on my stroke, I can also have a trajectory error. I can have an arc error that I can miss the ball or clip the ball unintentionally by taking the paddle back this far. Let's look at the other end of the spectrum. Let's say I just put the paddle here at the point of contact before the ball has arrived. I will have no error from a backswing. This is not to say that every time you dink a ball, you should have the ball exactly at the spot where the ball is going to be for the point of contact. But the closer you are to that point, the less error you will have. As an example, if my backswing was this motion for a dink, my error is only this large. If my backswing is like this, then I have a chance of this much error. If my backswing is here, then I have a chance of that much error. The idea is to get the paddle as close to the optimal point of contact as possible before the ball arrives there, thereby reducing the error from the backswing. Let's look at the point of contact in the context of a volley. Let's take a backhand volley. Point of contact is going to be at this spot here. I need to strike the ball here in order to execute the best possible shot. Now, if I take my paddle back like this before I strike the ball, I have the same problem I had with the dink, where I have to time the release and also the speed of the paddle in order to have the paddle arrive at this spot at the same time that the ball is arriving at that spot. Now, if I start my swing from here, and this is the point of contact, I have eliminated all of the error that could occur from this part of the swing. The only possible error would be this part of the swing. So I reduce this, and all I have is this. Let's look at the side angle of a volley point of contact being here for a backhand volley. If I take a large backswing, I have to make sure that my paddle reaches the same space that the ball is going to occupy at the same time the ball is going to be there. Even harder in a volley because the ball usually is traveling at a faster speed than it is on a dink. So if I shorten that swing to here, now I have less chance for error from the backswing. Shortening your backswing will reduce your errors and improve your game. I hope this video has been helpful. If you've enjoyed it, subscribe below. Let us know in the comments if there's anything else you'd like for us to cover. Somewhere over here, there's an Into Pickle logo to subscribe. If you're not yet done with pickleball today, click on one of the videos to learn some more. Thanks.